Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? I'm doing well. I feel great. And thank the Almighty for waking me up this morning. Yeah, buddy. I hope y'all say the same thing too. Those of you that woke up. It's a beautiful day here in Orlando, Florida. You can tell it's going to get hot today. Right now, it's in I believe, the 70s. I didn't look at the temperature, but inside the house, if you open your windows, you can feel a breeze. Sometimes I open the window. I don't always keep my AC on. I like some fresh air to blow through my apartment. You know what I'm saying? But, they tell us you're supposed to keep the AC on here at 77 degrees, the temperature, because, here in Florida, the houses or the apartments can get mold and you can become sick. And who wants to become sick? Um, I'm not an AC girl, but, I abide by the rule, but sometimes I have to open my windows because I love fresh air flowing through. You know what I'm saying? So, now that it's not that hot, the breeze be blowing in and stuff like that. So, I leave them open at night. I turn the AC off and I let the air blow through, and it feels so good because, the weather be cooling down in the night. So what's wrong with that? But anyway, yeah, we're supposed to get some showers. They say 45%, something like that. And it didn't rain anymore yesterday evening. The showers came down and that was that. The sun came back out. It started to get hot again, but it didn't rain anymore. But this is Florida, getting used to it. Yeah, so I was reading this article and it's about about why older women, they don't like to sleep in the bed with their husbands or be around a man or their husband or whatever like that. And I didn't really get an exact answer, but I believe my answer is this. Older folks in general, but older men especially, they hygiene, they hygiene is it can be terrible, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't like to clean themselves, you know what I'm saying? I guess they figure that they old now so they don't have to take showers as often or brush their teeth and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying this about every man out there, but the majority of y'all know what I'm talking about, and don't lie. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Even some of the young ones, they don't even like to clean themselves either. They go to sleep and then they wake up in the morning and they eat breakfast. They don't get up and brush their teeth, wash their mouth out, nothing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the women do this too. And I notice it. I notice with a lot of the young ones, the teens and stuff, male and females, they do this, and that's disgusting. You're practicing bad habits. And if you have little kids, they seeing you do this, they're gonna do the same thing, and then gonna grow into nasty grown adults. You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. And a lot of older women, sometimes they don't feel like being bothered laying up in bed with their husband, or whatever, so they rather, I guess, be in their own bed because, the husband, he wants to get into that touchy mood and all this kind of stuff. And some older women, they not in the mood for all that, You know what I'm talking about, the sex and all of that. Some of them are still hot there, but some of them don't. We got different hormonal changes going on in our bodies, and we don't want to be bothered. A lot of them don't want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? It's not like when they were young, they were hot in the pants and stuff like that. When you get older, your body changes, and you don't feel the same. You know, and a lot of men don't understand this, or they don't want to understand. I think they don't want to understand because they feel like, they got to have it and you got to give it. You know what I'm saying? This is for the younger ones too. Y'all just don't give a damn. They don't. Maybe some, but the majority of them, I don't think they care at all. They just got to get their thing wet. You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. But it's the truth, y'all. I'm telling y'all the truth. And it's sad. But I know they have a lot of women out there, they will be telling their friends, oh yeah, me and my husband, we do it all the time. Girl, what's wrong with you? But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of those women, they be lying. They be lying, you know what I'm saying? They just don't want you, their friend or whoever they talking to know that they don't be feeling that way anymore, you know what I'm saying? So to come out and be honest, they will lie their butts off. They certainly will. The other day, me and my neighbor Terry, we was talking and stuff like that. And she started really talking because of what I said. I said, girl, you have a man, you have to try to, if he treats you good and all of that, he don't disrespect you and stuff like that, you got to treat your man right. You know what I'm saying? I know you might not want to do all the time, but you gotta treat that man right, because if you don't, he gonna go out there and get it from somebody else, young or old. And these men out here, it don't matter to them. I'm dead serious. So if you got a good man, you better do the do. And a lot of y'all don't know what the do is. A lot of folks, they have sex in different forms. You know what I'm saying? They have the anal, they have the one you do in the V part, and then they have oral. You know what I'm saying? And I never heard of the one in the ear, because the ear has a hole too, or in the nose, because the nose have a hole. But you know how these men are, they like to stick their thing in whatever hole they can find. But those are the two holes that I never heard about. Anyway, a lot of women don't like to talk about this subject, you know what I'm saying? But me, JU-Ice, I am just raw. I just come out with it. I have no shame to my game, I'm not no sex therapist or nothing like that. I'm not even close to the word. But I know a few things along the way. You know what I'm saying? I read, and sometimes you got to experiment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a bad person to whoever is thinking that I'm a bad person, but I know a lot of y'all back there, that y'all wish that y'all had the guts like me to really come out and speak about stuff like this. But a lot of y'all are ashamed, or y'all are afraid of what this person might think of you or whatever. But getting back to my neighbor Terry, when I said certain things to her, you know what I'm saying? She was like, girl, she busted out in this big smile, and she laughed, and she said, girl, thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with me. You know what I'm saying? You are so right, girl. And then she said, she do this and she do that, and I said, yeah, you got to hold on to your man. If you got a good man, you hold on to your man. You satisfy that man. You know what I'm saying? And she agreed all the way. She was like, yeah, she was like, oh my God, I never could have spoken to a female before like the way I'm talking to you right now. You just came straight out and you just was saying it, and I thank you. I thank you. I said, girl, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a lot of females out here, they be doing the do, and they're ashamed to even mention it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you have to go out there and broadcast it to the whole world, but what the hell? What are you ashamed of? You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of black females, they quick to say, oh, I can't, oh no, we can't do that, or I can't do that. Only Caucasian women do that. That's why the black men like to be with the Caucasian women. No, it's BS. To each their own. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own preference. But to be honest with you, a lot of black females, y'all don't do certain things with your man, but you do it with other men. Be honest. Don't lie. Be honest. Y'all don't go down on your man, but y'all go down on other men. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do a lot of ex stuff with others, but you don't do it with your own man. Don't you think do you think that's fair? Your man is going to be upset, you know what I'm saying? And especially if he find out. Because I had this co-worker, how you going? How you doing, DB? I'm not going to say his name out, but he was married to this female. And he found condoms in their bedroom in the drawer. And he said him and her didn't use condoms. So he's wondering, well, what the hell is she doing with condoms? She was hiding it. She's Haitian. But anyway, he found out that she was doing oral with another man, but she didn't do it with him. And he's her husband. He was providing for them. They had 2 kids. They still have 2 kids. They bigger now. But I know that really hurt him. You see how a lot of these women are? They don't do certain things with their own man, but they go do it with another man. You know what I'm saying? What is that all about? What is that all about? What is this other person doing that your husband or your boyfriend not doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the men that abuses their women and force them to do things. I'm talking about those that are in good standing relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like each other, y'all do things together, y'all don't insult, abuse, or put down. That's what I'm talking about. But a lot of women out here, they don't satisfy their men. They go satisfy somebody else's husband or somebody else's boyfriend, but they don't satisfy their own. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know that. Why is that? Answer that. And I know a lot of women, they don't really like doing certain things with their man because they men, like I said, their hygiene is horrible. You know what I'm saying? But ladies, why don't y'all just come out and tell your man or your husband or whoever you dealing with, tell them about their hygiene. Tell them to take care of their hygiene. If you got to break it down, tell them to brush their teeth, scrub their tongue, use some mouthwash, use some peroxide if you ain't got mouthwash, floss. Tell them to clean out the boogers out of their nose, clean their ears, clean behind their ears, wash their hair, take showers, bathe. I got another story for y'all, but I'll tell y'all in a little bit. When they in the shower, Get a pumice stone and scrub their feet. Scrub the bottom of your feet. Scrub all that crusty stuff that be on your feet. It's dry skin. It's dry skin. Scrub all of that stuff off of your feet while you're in the shower. You know what I'm saying? Do this. Clean your personal areas. You know what I'm saying? Shave your arms. I know a lot of men don't like to shave their arms. I really don't know why. I think it's disgusting having all that hair growing under there, look like a forest, and then they take the stick deodorant and then they put the deodorant under their arm and it cakes up and it looks disgusting. It looks so disgusting. A lot of women do too. Y'all need to shave those areas. You need to shave downstairs too. A lot of women, men, they don't, come on. Y'all have to get y'all act together. Cleanliness is next to godliness. I am dead serious. And a lot of this turn off men as well as it turn off women. You have to groom yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to. And don't just take showers one day out of the week or 2 days out of the week. Bathe your ass every day, morning and night. If you just want to do it in the morning, that's fine. But if you living in a house with a woman or a man or whatever, wash your ass morning and night. I know people have to work and stuff like that, but do that. Wash your behind. If you live in an apartment, you don't have to pay for water. So the water is free. You can wash your behind. Wash. Well, all of that comes along with the rent, but still, you can run the water. I'm not saying to waste the water, but you can wash your tail. They have a lot of folks that like to use wipes, the baby wipes, unscented and stuff like that. No, you need to wash your behinds. You can have that too, but wash. And when you use the bathroom, you can use the wipes to do that. Some people use the wet tissue. You can use the wipes to do that. You know what I'm saying? But clean yourself. Clean yourself. Don't just use the toilet and just take the tissue and wipe and just walk away. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women, they have for women, they have the mini pads, the little mini pads that you can put in your underwear. That's to hold any kind of secretion that comes, or fluid that comes out of you during the day. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going into your panties and soiling it, making it wet or whatever, that holds it until you get home and you can change it again. That's why they sell these products. You know what I'm saying? They don't just have them there in the store just for people to pass by and look. A lot of women don't know about these things. So they walk around bare, with their panty and they don't have nothing under there. And then, like sometimes, you have secretion coming out of your body, or if you go to pee and stuff like that, urinate, you might wipe yourself, but then, you might have a little secretion coming out. It goes right into your panty and then it's going to go into your pants or wherever you want, whatever you're wearing. So, come on. You got to clean yourselves. And they have those personal hygiene sprays and stuff, and they have the personal hygiene wipes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's best to use the unscented, because the scented ones are not good. And for women, using those internal douches and stuff like that, it's not recommended by the doctors, by your GYN, to use those things. You know what I'm saying? Your body cleans out itself. I used to be a maniac buying those products, and then I found out from one of my gynecologists, when I had him in New York, he was Russian. He said, no, you shouldn't be using those things, especially scented, because you could put bacteria and stuff up in there, and you can get a lot of infections and stuff like that. So I stopped using those things. You know what I'm saying? They have the Norforms. It's like in a little cube. You can insert that up in you, and it melts. It melts. But you still need to use the panty liner, because the secretion, the solution, it runs out of you. So you don't want it running out into your panty. You know what I'm saying? So you can use the mini pad for that. And a lot of women, when you have your menstrual and stuff like that, you need to clean yourselves. You need to change them pads. Some women walk around with that for days, for hours. You know what I'm saying? It smells, the blood, it smells. You have to clean yourselves. Come on, ladies. And for the young girls, if you're at school and that happen to come on you, go into the toilet, go into the bathroom, and get some tissue and stuff like that. But also go to the nurse and ask for them to give you a pad or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And for those that don't know about stuff like that yet, because a lot of parents don't talk to their kids about becoming a young lady and what to do and what not to do. I spoke to my niece about it. I spoke to my daughter about it. I spoke to my granddaughter about it, daughters about it, when they were close to becoming that age where they're gonna have their menstrual. You know what I'm saying? Some mothers are afraid to talk to their kids, or they claim they don't know how to talk to their kids. Because I remember my sister-in-law. Well, I have two sister-in-laws, but my brother, he lives in Jersey. His wife, I remember her telling me, this is before they got married, and here go Rainbow. Rainbow is good luck. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. Yeah, I remember her telling me her daughter, her oldest daughter, she was becoming a young lady, and she was around the age, and she was like, she don't know what to tell her. And I was like, talk to her, tell her about your experience. Tell her about your experience. Ladies, you can tell your kids about your experience and tell them how and what to do. You know what I'm saying? So they won't be afraid. They would know what to do. But don't just leave them out in the cold. They're gonna go and find out from other folks. They're going to, because I learned about it from when I was in Barbados. I was growing up. I always found attraction to be around older students, older people. So I was in school, and industrial high school that was in St. Philip, because I don't think it's no longer in existence, or maybe the building is there, but there's no school. The owner passed away a long time ago, Miss Keene. But anyway, I remember, a friend of mine, his name was Peter Edgel, God rest his soul, and it was these other females, they all used to be together. Look at the rainbow. It's coming out more. And I used to always sneak around and be around them. I never used to be with people my age. I was shy. And I used to always find myself in the company of them. And I used to hear the conversations that they used to talk about. And they spoke about stuff like that, becoming a young lady and what you should do and stuff. So, I was so ashamed, but I came out one day and I asked him alone, not in front of everyone, because, I was embarrassed. And I asked him, well, well, first of all, that's not going to happen to me. And he said, yes, it is. And I said, oh my God, and then I said, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, I can't go to my great aunt. She's going to think I was doing something bad, which a lot of grown ups always think that, which is stupid. But, he had a lot of sisters, and he told me exactly what to do. And believe it or not, this young man never got fresh with me or nothing like that. And that's what I had liked about him. He was a real gentleman, a real friend. And when that day came, I I didn't go to my aunt and ask her for money, my great aunt, because I was afraid to say anything to her. So her daughter, her husband's daughter, wasn't from her because she was barren. She was married to a Caucasian man, and he had 3 kids from a different woman, but she took care of them, a daughter and 2 sons. So the daughter, Phyllis, she's still alive, y'all. She still live in Barbados. How you doing, Phyllis? If you watch my video, she's in her late 70s now, probably going into her 80s. But anyway, nice lady. She was a nurse at the time, and believe it or not, I used to go into the area where she kept her pads, and I snuck it out. I didn't mean to steal, but that's the only way I could have done it. You know what I'm saying? And then it didn't take long. One day she was talking to her brother's girlfriend, and Sylvan, because she has another brother, and this girlfriend name was Greta. Well, they broke up a long time ago. But anyway, she was talking to her about her stuff being missing. And she wasn't like angry or nothing like that. And I happened to be right there, and I heard the conversation. So I was like trying to hide and try to get out the room because I know I was the one that was taking the pads. And then I came out and I admitted it to her. I told her, and I said the reason why I did that, I was afraid to go to my Aunt Day. Her name was Idalia Kinch. And she was mean. She was a good woman, but she was a mean lady, so, and a tough one too. So I was afraid. Anyway, I told her I was afraid to say anything to her because I thought she was gonna scold me, saying I was doing something bad with boys, which I wasn't. So she's the one that broke the ice. She went to my aunt, and she would go get the money from her each time when my stuff came. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't stay in Barbados that long. I left there when I was 12. But my menstruation came a little time around that time, and I wasn't there that long, but then, I came to the United States. So, I'm just trying to say, your kids, ladies, your kids, gentlemen, your daughters, they are ashamed and they're scared to come tell you stuff like that because they feel you're gonna scold them and accuse them of doing things they weren't doing. So, a lot of young girls, they get their menstruation around 12, 11, 10. Some even get it at 8 or 9. I don't know about any having it at 7, but you have to check your daughters out, they underwears and stuff like that. You do their laundry, you have to check their underwears out. You might see a little brown stuff in the underwear. It's telling you it's time. Their stuff is getting ready to come soon. So you have to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because a cousin of mine, Janice Weeks Calendar, she resides in Jersey, but she lives in Barbados now. She retired. Her and her husband, he was in the military. Michael. Hi, how y'all doing? Well, she's the one who brought it to my attention when my daughter was close to becoming a young lady, because we went to her house one weekend because she wanted me to cook some soup for her. I don't know, she said, growing up, you used to always be doing the cooking and stuff at Grand House. That's my mother's stepmother, God rest her soul. So, she was like, she wanted me to cook some soup for her, So I went to New Jersey. That's where Michael was stationed, in New Jersey, and that's where they were living. So, I went over there that weekend and I cooked a big pot of soup. And, in Jersey, the winters are brittle. So the soup was really great and she loved it. She enjoyed it. And this is when she brought it to my attention. See the rainbow? That my daughter was soon going to become a young lady because she saw the mark in her underwear. So, I learned from that. I didn't tell her, mind your business or nothing like that. No, she's not. I listened to her and I kept paying attention to my daughter, So, that when it happened, I already knew what to do, and I had spoken to her about it too. You know what I'm saying? So, don't be afraid to talk to your daughters about stuff like that, You have to. If you don't, they're going to find out the hard way. They're going to go to the wrong people and they're going to steer them wrong like most people always do. See, it's beautiful. You see it now? It's really there. Yeah, look at it. Red, yellow, blue, or green. It looks like green, and then sometimes it looks like a little blue. Yeah. So, don't be ashamed to talk to your kids and stuff like that. And, you need to talk to your sons too. They go through something too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too familiar with the men, but young boys, they go through different stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So, dads or moms, because some household don't have a dad, you need to sit down, talk with your boy children, or get a male person in your family to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? About becoming a young man and stuff like that, For real. Otherwise, they're going to go astray too. Like a lot of them are doing. I didn't say all of them, but a lot of them are astray, So you have to do that. You have to teach them. It's so pretty. Look at that. Luck is coming my way. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see what it is. Yes, sirree. Yep. But I'm sweating bricks, y'all. I'm sweating bricks. But it's cool right here, And there's a little tiny breeze. Yep. Look at outside. It's so beautiful. But yeah, you have to do that. So those of you that have husbands or boyfriends or whatever, and y'all don't want to be laying up, sleeping in the bed next to them or whatever, y'all got different beds and stuff like that. There's all sorts of reasons that happen. But make sure you tell your man, take care of their hygiene. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to tell them. Don't go tell your friends. You need to tell the man himself. You know what I'm saying? Your friend don't need to know that. Or whoever you go tell it to, they don't need to know that. You need to sit in front of this man. Sit him down. He might not want to listen because you know how hard-headed men are. If he don't want to sit down, tell him any goddamn way. Be brave like me. Tell him. You need to clean your ASS. You need to wash your ASS. You need to brush your teeth. You need to brush your tongue. You need to take care of your hygiene. Yeah, he's gonna say, my hygiene, there's nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you? Maybe you need to do it. Don't listen to all the crap that he's gonna tell you. He's embarrassed. That's what it is. He don't want to own up to it. He know it's true, but he's not gonna own up to it. I guarantee you, one day, if he don't get up the same time, he's gonna get up, even with all that trash that he's running his mouth with. He's gonna get up and he's gonna start doing those things. I am dead serious. He is, or she is, because men, women are like that too. So don't be embarrassed to tell them they need to clean their bodies. They need to take care of their hygiene. If they say, what are you talking about hygiene? Spell it out. You need to get up and wash your ass. You need to wash your personal areas. You need to wash your whole body. Scrub it. You need to brush, clean your mouth. You need to brush your teeth, gargle, all that kind of stuff. Clean behind your ears. You got to talk to them like this. You got to talk to them like they damn kids. Because grown-ups, they are something else. They are something else. And they swear that they're right all the time, but they are not. They are not. A lot of them don't like to be stand corrected. Well, I do. But a lot of them don't. They want to correct you, but they don't want you to correct them. They would try to put you in your place in a second, but guess what? You can put them in their place too. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Come right out and tell them like it is. And if you are one of those that don't do the do, well, you need to start doing the do too. Stop being ashamed. Stop being afraid. Stop being ashamed. I'm dead serious. For real. Well, I'm going to end my video right now. It's Saturday, folks. I hope y'all have a good day. It was good chatting with y'all. Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. A friend of my mom's, she passed away years ago. Her name was, we call her Sister. I don't know her real name, but she was from Barbados too, and she lived in the United States. She used to come visit my mom when we were living on Union Street. That's in Crown Heights, 1601 Union Street. Look at it. It's so pretty. It's coming out. Now you can see purple in there. Purple, blue, green, yellow, and orange. Yeah, look at it. It is so pretty. Jesus. Beautiful. Yeah, so, she was a Sagittarian just like me. She was so funny. And this lady was tall. She was real tall. And she was light-skinned. I love Sister, and I miss her so much because she used to keep me laughing. She used to always come visit, and she would always bring bread and eggs. She always brought something for us. And my mom had another friend. I'll get back to Sister. My mom had another friend, Sister, oh my God, I forgot her name. Sister Dora? I can't remember her name, but she was Jamaican. She passed away a long time too. But Sister Vera, excuse me, she was so sweet. She used to come to our house almost every day after work. She would stop by, and she always brought eggs. She would always bring something for us. And I was always the one entertaining this lady because my mom, she was never home. She always used to be running to her church, running down to the church, or at a church member house or something. So I used to be the one entertaining these two ladies. And I used to always be angry because I used to be like, damn, why my mother don't never stay home? These two ladies are her friends. They really nice. What friends come to visit you and bring food for you, for your kids, for you and your kids? You know what? These are good friends. You don't find friends like these. But my mom was always leaving the house. And who can blame her? You know, she had 7 of us. She probably couldn't even stand being in a house with all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because I myself used to leave the house after a while. I used to find a place to go by friends and stuff like that. Because I used to get sick and tired of the SHIT myself. But you know, my dad, you know, he wasn't living with us, and you know, everybody was just doing their own thing or whatever. But we all lived there. Anyway, yeah, getting back to sister. Sister told me a story about a boyfriend she had. This man was short because, like I just said, sister was really tall, tall like a basketball player. This man was short. I never saw him, but she told me at night where she was living at, he used to he used to put a stool by the kitchen sink. And she said one night she laid back in her bed because she wanted to see what the heck he was doing that for. She said this man got on the stool and he climbed into the sink and he squatted and he was washing between his legs. He was just washing between his legs. I said, "What?" I busted out laughing. I just couldn't stop laughing. Oh my God. And every time I think of that, I always laugh out loud. Some people that is around me, they be looking at me like I'm crazy. I am dead serious. She said this man used to be washing his tail in the sink. I said, "What? What was wrong with going into the bathroom and the shower?" She said he never did. He just used to get in the sink and be washing between his legs with the soap. She never see him wash his arms or nothing like that, but he just used to be. And she was doing the motion like this, washing between here like that. I said, "Oh my God." I don't know whatever happened with him, but you know, she ended up not having a boyfriend. But you know, soon after that, you know, sister passed away. I found out from my uncle that she had a heart attack or something like that. So you know, I never got to see sister again. But you know, she was a very nice lady. Very nice lady. My mom knew her from in Barbados and stuff like that. Yeah. And by the way, you know, even though my mom was an older lady and stuff like that, my mom, she took her showers. She always bathed. Morning, noon, and night. She always bathed. Even though she had a bad knee and stuff like that, my mom always bathed. She cleaned up and stuff like that. She was a clean woman, and she could cook her butt off. Her food always tasted good. A lot of people always like her food. And she always smelled good. My mom always smelled good. I got to give that to her. She always smelled good. She wore her deodorant. I never seen a whole bunch of hair under her arm. Well, I don't know about down there because I never looked at her personal area. But I was around my mom a lot. And my mom, when I hugged my mom, she always smelled so good. I remember when I was a child, when we were in Barbados, you know, we had our own house at the time, you know, and I remember laying in the bed with my mom, you know, and I used to always snuggle under her. I love smelling her arm. Her arm always smelled so good. I guess that was my comfort zone. I always remember that. And yeah, you know, I don't know if there's a lot of you that been through any kind of experience like that, but yeah, you know. Anyway, yeah, cleanliness is next to godliness. So make sure y'all clean y'all behinds, clean y'all bodies, clean y'all mouth and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And floss and brush and all that kind of good stuff. Don't just pour the perfume or the cologne on your body or spray it on and don't take no showers or nothing like that, because it makes it worse. It makes the stench worse. Serious. And there's a lot of folks out here that they get up, they don't wash their tails in the morning, they spray perfume or body sprays or whatever on, and they put their clothes on and they out the door. Come back home and they repeat the same thing over and over again. And there's a lot of folks out there that they are around at work or school. Some might tell them they stink, but some don't say anything. Folks, if you know anyone that fit that category, don't be afraid. Just pull them on the side and whisper to them. Tell them in a nice way. Tell them in a nice way. You know what I'm saying? Because they not aware of the way they smell. Yeah, you can smell yourself, but some people act like they can't. So if they're around you and it's bothering you, tell them. If you don't want to tell them, that's on you. Maybe somebody else will. I remember it was this guy that I worked with at New York City College of Technology. Tester. Everybody knows Tester. Caucasian guy. He doesn't work there anymore. He worked at another college. I'm not going to say. But this man always used to smell nasty. He smelled stink. He always stunk. And I got sick and tired of the smell. And I heard people talk. People used to talk about the smell all the time, but no one had the guts to get up and pull this man on the side and speak to him. Me and this man, we used to have conversations and stuff like that. And I told him, one day, I just came out and I told him, I said, Tester, you have to change your clothes. You have to take showers. I said it in a very nice way. I wasn't arrogant or nothing like that. And I didn't say it in front of others. I pulled him on the side and we chat. And I said, Tester, you have to take showers. And you have to change your clothes. You know what I'm saying? You have to change your clothes. And he said, I take showers sometimes. I said, you have to take showers all the time. And maybe it's not, okay, if you take showers and stuff like that, maybe something is going on inside of you that's making you smell like that. You need to check with your doctor. You need to go to your doctors. Or whatever, something you're eating, but you need to check with your doctors. Do you go to the doctor? He says sometimes. No, I don't want to hear sometimes. I want to hear all the time. So I told him, well, you need to correct all of this. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look good you here on the job and the smell is bothering people, but they're afraid to say anything to you. You know what I'm saying? So, after that, he started smelling different and stuff like that. But then we were back to square one again because he was starting to smell that way again. Well, I was told by a friend, because she works with him at the new college, she said it's still the same. So I don't know if this is his habit or he has something going on inside of him internally that he needs to check. And he's getting older. She's always telling him about he should go see the doctor and stuff like that because he gets sick a lot now. But he's hard-headed. I guess he don't like to go to the doctor. I don't know, or he's afraid. So I pray one of these days he don't go to the doctor and they tell him that he don't have too long to live. You know what I'm saying? Or he have this or he have that. Because I tried. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, Sister and Mr. Tester. So, yeah, folks, let me go now. Gotta get myself to grooming. It's a beautiful day, yeah, it's a beautiful day. I could stay out here all day and take all of this in. But I'm gonna share it with all of you. Look at the view. No dark clouds. And no, I will not be going to the flea market today. You know what I'm saying? It's bill time. I don't have time to spend money. Not even $1. And by the way, I ordered my crazy glue. I was checking this morning and Walmart has it, not the one in my area, but they have it, and theirs is $3.99 to brush on. So I ordered three, which is $10. So to ship it is just gonna be, um, I think it's $13.50. So that's not bad. So it's supposed to come today, so I'll be here to collect it. Yeah. So I guess I guess maybe I'll keep the glue that I bought, the Gorilla Glue, or maybe I'll give it to my daughter, because she has her own house, and she has things over there that she probably could use it for. So yeah, have a good day. Nice talking to you all. Don't forget what I just said. Check your partners. Check them if they need checking. And partners, check your ladies if they need checking. Don't be afraid to say or make them do the do. Peace.